Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Play the Hits. Max, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. It's coming up now.
Hell yeah. And I
Are
got
you
you a little early Christmas present.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome
What
to
we got?
Sea of Fucking Stars. Ignore all the spoilers in my save file.
Wait a second. I don't know how, but it just went to Discord kind of freaked out. So,
Always Valaire.
Right.
She's just the better protagonist.
yeah, that's who I chose as well.
That's the only choice.
It seems like for the fighting, though, it doesn't matter at all.
No, not at all. And honestly, I love this game. It's rapidly becoming one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
But they're equally boring protagonists. Like they're the weakest characters in their own game.
Gotcha. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, they're kind of the lens that you see the rest of the game through. But
Okay.
yeah.
Do you get? I mean, I'm very early in this game, so I'm going to be seeing a lot more of it. Probably by episode 3. So, and also depends on how quickly I guess you blast through the beginning of the story. But
Right.
yeah. Do you have more characters, unless it's like super spoilery, than the first 3?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you do get more.
You get a
More
grand
party
total
members.
of 5. It's not a huge cast,
Okay.
but each character does their own unique thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Sea
the
of Stars
fact
kind of
that-
came out of nowhere for me, but man, do
Yeah.
I love this game.
I feel like the demo came out like a full 6 months or so before the game did.
Yeah, it did, but I was completely unaware of it. Like I had seen a preview of this game like over a year ago, and I was like, oh wow, that looks really great. I'm gonna have to follow this, and then I didn't follow it,
Mhm.
and then suddenly like the demo was out, and oh man,
Thing is, there's
this
so
game just
many
instantly took off for me.
there's so many good like indie titles and stuff, and I don't know if you'd consider Something Monkey with whoever made this game as super indie, but they're pretty indie.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
they had The Messenger, which was a huge success, and
yeah, and
now
a
this is
great
being a
game.
huge success for them too, which is great.
Yeah, it's just, but I can understand. Like it was kind of off my radar too. I downloaded it for the Switch when the demo came out,
Okay.
but I never played it until we started talking about it just a few
Yeah.
months ago. I was like, oh yeah, I guess I should try this one out. But I have a lot of demos that I don't actually do anything with. I downloaded like 3 weeks ago the what is it? The Star Ocean Second Story R demo.
Oh yeah.
I haven't even touched
There's
it.
one that
and
I'm
so
eventually
excited
gonna have to
play
pick
it.
up too, because I love the PS1 original.
Oh yeah. I remember that was the game Second Story that had like a whole bunch of different endings depending on your party members, I think.
Yeah.
Or like
Yep.
who you had in the last battle or who you
Yeah.
picked up in
I mean,
general.
what they did was sort of kind of a cop out. Like they basically just it was all segmented. Like the ending
Yeah.
didn't dramatically change depending on who was in your party, but like they would show like different snippets of what happened to like key party members that you used a lot.
Okay. I remember the back of the jewel case being like over 80 different endings. It's like
Yeah,
let's give
that's
up.
bullshit. I mean, it's really good, and they flesh out the characters a lot in that game.
Yeah.
But it's not like 80 unique endings depending on like precisely who is in your party. Yeah.
No.
Don't
like,
let them fool you.
games like that or what's it, a Chrono Cross that have like a whole bunch of different characters. Yeah, they kind of promise that, and it's just like,
Yeah,
But,
no.
I mean, at least in Chrono Cross, because I never finished or even got close to finishing Second Story, and Chrono Cross for that matter. Though I've seen a lot more of that game. They do flesh out the characters in that game fairly well, most of them.
Oh yeah.
Which is kind of like how many characters are in Chrono Cross?
Yeah, Chrono
Over
Cross
20 or
always
something.
surprised me with just how deep they could go
Yeah.
with the character development in that. Considering there were like 40 some characters.
Oh, it's 40 something. Yeah, I remember it being like a crap ton.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, I mean, I don't know. You play something like the OG FF7, and if you're like kind of playing it normally, exploring things, like you're probably gonna find the secret 2 characters. But Chrono Cross is like you really got to look out for some of them. Like you're probably not gonna get them all in one playthrough.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. In fact, it's impossible, I think, to get every single character in one play. I don't think I know. It's impossible to get every single character in Chrono Cross in one playthrough.
Just some story choices and stuff.
Yeah, because there's like branching paths where you can recruit some characters and not others. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
That being said, though, Chrono Cross and of course Chrono Trigger remain 2 of my favorite RPGs of all time. But having played this sucker here into the ground, I can say that it thoroughly stands tall with them.
Yeah. I mean, so much of like just the look of it, and we've talked about this with like this game and not Thousand Chain. What was the other game you played that was like seemed basically plagiarizing other games?
Oh, Chained Echoes.
Like, Chained Echoes.
The difference being though that Chained Echoes really did plagiarize. Like this game, it borrows some elements from several classic RPGs, but never in a way that you're like, aha, they ripped that straight from Chrono Trigger or whatever. No. Like Chained Echoes, they absolute like huge swaths of its plot are taken straight from Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah. I do like they seem to combine a lot of little things from certain RPGs like timing attacks and stuff and defense. But then at least like the unlocking system, I don't remember something like that in any game. I'm trying to remember Bait and Kaitos or Bite and Kaitos, whatever. Was like a card game kind of system that maybe had something like that, but definitely the first time I've seen a battle system like this, even though it's not completely unfamiliar.
Well, honestly, like the more that I play the battle system in this game, the more it really is just a more fleshed out version of what Super Mario RPG did.
Yeah.
Well, like everything from the level up system to the timed hits, it really is. It's
the level up system. That's right. I forgot about that.
Like, how in Mario RPG, every character only has like 4 or 5 special attacks, but you have to time them right and everything.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same in this. There is not like a bottomless pool of magic. MP is extremely limited, but it's also all about how you can use kind of other parts of the combat system to refill the MP in order to do attacks. It's pretty cool.
And I'm only just getting into the beginning of that where it's I think I'm only just learned the what do you call it system where you're like absorbing stuff.
Yeah, the magic without magic.
Yeah, I remember the demo really kind of didn't explain that stuff.
No, not at all. Well, it turns out there was a tutorial in the demo that I just didn't pay any attention to.
Yeah, kind of a long tutorial of this game, but it's good.
But it warrants it because the combat, like the untrained eye would be tempted to think that it's woohoo, no. There we go.
Oh yeah, let's get away from that.
Yeah, that it's overly simple, but that's honestly how the game deceives you. Like it seems really simple. Like there's only like 3 or 4 main mechanics that are constantly moving in the combat system. Hey, Sparks. But within those 3 or 4 mechanics, like they're constantly being combined and thrown at you in like new and tricky ways.
Yeah, but they show most of the system right from the beginning, but they don't really overwhelm you.
Yeah, it's just about magic.
You see like an attack is just like kills the first enemies pretty easily. It's like, oh, okay. You know? So they don't like overwhelm you, but they still kind of have everything there.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's the soundtrack to this game, which is, love it.
Okay. I still need to, like, nothing has stood out to me yet, but again, I'm very early.
Actually, the theme song in this opening village here, I really, really like.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Not the one that you're hearing right now, but just like the village theme
just the town
in general.
Music.
You can also clearly tell which tracks were composed by Mitsuda.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was, like, only a few tracks, right? Like 4 of them or something?
Maybe closer to 6 or 7.
Oh, okay.
There's only a handful, but you can definitely tell when they show up.
Yeah.
That's like
really
he's just
cool,
got
though.
that
like,
really distinct style.
Yeah.
Though I'm actually kind of on and off again replaying Xenogears, and I had forgotten just how hard he went on the soundtrack of that game.
Oh yeah. I need to. I have that downloaded and I played like the first few minutes, but didn't save the other day.
That is
But,
the most Mitsuda has ever been. But this game's soundtrack definitely does it for me.
Yeah.
Even the non-Mitsuda tracks I think are really good. But there's just something nostalgic about his music.
I wonder. I got to look at how big the teams are that were on the Messenger compared to this. If it's mostly, I'm sure they hired some people, after the success of the Messenger.
Oh yeah.
But
it's a substantially bigger game.
It's such a lateral turn from that to this, and it's not like I don't know. Of course, they wouldn't put out something as a joke, but it kind of just seemed unbelievable that it's actually extremely competent as their first RPG.
Oh, yeah. Well, honestly, though, from what I understand about the studio, as wonderful as the Messenger is, it was apparently like just a vehicle for them to kind of make some money so that they could create the game that they wanted to make, which was this.
Oh, interesting. Because, yeah, they did end up getting...
Which really sounds like I'm selling the Messenger short, but...
No, for sure. I mean, was it Devolver Digital that published the Messenger? It was someone... It was like a bigger publishing arm.
Yeah, I
so
forget.
yeah, they ended up getting a lot of advertising and everything, out there, and some money that they wouldn't have, otherwise gotten going to someone and then selling this game to them.
Yeah.
So,
well,
yeah,
like no one was
I'm
going to
really
take
happy.
a chance on a sprawling RPG with a completely unknown developer. I mean, the budget costs and everything would have been big. And
yeah. So I love that because there are a lot of, kind of JRPGs, types that come out and they don't really seem remarkable, but I'm sure the passion is there for so many of these indie developers.
Absolutely. And you're right. There are a ton of indie, retro-inspired JRPGs. They're kind of a dime a dozen, but this really, I mean, even just the aesthetic, you can tell it really goes the extra mile to set itself apart.
Yeah. Have you ever been interested in, they have like the RPG Maker series that's been going on since like at least the PlayStation 2 era. And they've gotten like pretty detailed.
Oh yeah, you can make some crazy stuff out of those. In fact, there are really successful game series that are made entirely on RPG Maker.
Yeah, which is kind of nuts, but I have to look that up one day and see like what the most successful one is. But I know there's a horror one.
There's two out right now, Arafel, and then the same studio made Rise of the Third Power. And Nick actually gifted me Rise of the Third Power, and it's really good. Like it's a fun game. I haven't gotten super into it just yet, mostly because I think I started playing it right around when this came out.
Yeah.
On my Steam Deck, so I've got to return to it. But it seems really competent. There's something, I don't know. There's always something about fan games, though, where there's like lots of nod winks in the script, or just kind of non sequiturs that really... It's hard to describe. It's like they're purposely being self-referential, but nobody knows what the reference is. Does that make sense?
Let me think about that for a second.
So
you
like,
can tell they're trying to do something, but
they're like trying to lampoon on another game, or they're trying to make an inside joke about another like really small RPG Maker developer.
Okay.
And you as the audience playing this are just supposed to either get it or not.
Yeah. Which is, so it's like, okay, you're not talking to your friends here. Like,
yeah, right.
It's the big time now.
So like, you remember in the original FF4 translation, FF2 on the SNES with Ted Woosley?
Yeah.
You remember the part where Palom and Porom say to Bygone that William Shatner's acting is more convincing than his?
What? No? In the SNES version?
Yeah, I thought so.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't think so. I remember it smells like a rat, and then they do say something about acting
Yeah.
Like something is more convincing. Maybe shit.
I'm
If they
pretty
say
sure it
that,
was
that's
William
kinda weird.
Shatner's, but in any case, like Rise of the Third Power and a couple of other like sort of RPG Maker style games that I've tried all have that same kind of dialogue, and it takes me out of it a bit. Because like Rise of the Third Power is
Yeah.
clearly going for a more serious story. I mean, it's essentially based off of the days leading up to World War II, which is a really cool idea for a JRPG. But it'll go between like this like super serious kind of political narrative to stuff like that. It's also kind of clear that it was written by one person, and I don't know, and I don't mean to sound in any way condescending or demeaning, but you know, one person making a JRPG by themselves, their knowledge has limits. Like they don't have a team of writers like and researchers, like someone who can really look up European politics and really inform the script, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's kind of like, oh, we gotta go to the president's store and get a new president. Nothing that bad, but you know, like that kind of limitations in their understanding.
Gotcha.
And it's not like I'm so smart that I could write anything better, but you know what I'm saying.
But you know that there's something kind of like, oh, they're taking a shortcut here, basically?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Like an intellectual shortcut where it's just like, I'm not gonna, I'm just one person and I'm gonna do something that maybe is kind of funny. And it's like, people will just accept it because it'll be like, haha, RPG logic.
Yeah.
But yeah, and sometimes they do.
Sure.
And sometimes, I don't know, like, I hate that Yakuza is the first thing that comes up a lot of times when I'm trying to give an example just because I'm playing it right now. But it's like that game from the beginning, there's a suspense of disbelief because there's serious stuff, but there's also like,
poor girl.
Forecasting thunder's going to hit someone as a special move. It's just like,
right.
Yeah.
But the thing about Yakuza, you know that every single thing in their script is there intentionally. Like if there's something that seems out of place and stupid, it's because Sega wanted you to see how out of place and stupid this is.
Yeah, and they're kind of that way from the beginning.
Oh, totally.
I can imagine some of these, especially if it's like a small team or one person, these smaller releases where it's like, okay, we're getting later in the game, we got to finish this up, or we're not going to add as much story here or something. Like people and people have deadlines and stuff too, or they run out of money from backers.
Yep.
Like it's kind of a sad reality, but
and that's kind of the thing that I try to remind myself with these RPG Maker projects is it's literally like 2 or 3 people who just want to make something that they think is going to be really cool and share it with other people. So like I try not to be too hard on it, but like every once in a while, like when
I do like this song.
What's that?
I do like this song.
Yes, this is a good one.
Sorry, this is okay. Yeah, it's like, okay, this is pretty tight.
When reading through their scripts though, like, and another thing that I noticed a lot, they kind of try to go back and forth between being like super serious or heady or political, but then also being like total like anime, Naruto, Bleach kind of humor, which don't always mesh together the way that they're hoping they do.
Yeah, and it's like that's kind of the couple schools that you're seeing from a generation that grew up playing these kind of RPGs and games. Is you have people who are and of course there's a whole bunch of different skill levels and backings and stuff, but
yeah,
I feel like you're seeing people who are trying to like pay homage but also do their own thing and be serious about it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying other people aren't serious, but then you see people who are just like, I'm gonna make my RPG.
Yeah.
And which is okay, but sometimes that does involve like, wouldn't it be cool if there was like this kind of humor and we mix my other love of like wrestling or inside jokes or something like that. And it's like, that's cool. And you'll have your fans, but I think it's...
Humor is really hard to write.
Yeah.
Because
especially if it's not a comedy.
What's funny to you, it might not always be funny to everybody else, or everyone else might not get it. And that's what's tricky about games like this. This is clearly an indie, but it stays tonally consistent throughout. And the parts that are humorous or lighthearted are genuinely warm and inviting because they avoid the temptation to be either self-referential or, cultural in their digs.
Yeah.
The one exception, and it lands really well because so essentially what they do with this one character is they reference other indie developers that reference old games. Does that make sense?
It does, but yeah, that's gonna have it's not gonna have broad, recognition.
Well, actually it is. And for this reason. What they do is there's this crew of pirates, and you saw them in the demo. And one of their characters is always just essentially like spouting tropes of other JRPGs.
Okay.
So she'll be like, "Oh, guys, you remember that one time we cleared out that whole horde of monsters only to be stopped during a cutscene by 3 unarmed soldiers?" Because it was a cutscene. so just like stuff like that.
Because it's yeah, bullets and cutscenes hurt a lot more.
Yeah, exactly. So they literally break the fourth wall for that, and again, just because of what this game does, they somehow make it land, and that's really hard to quantify because, well, why does it land for this game but not for Rise of the Third Power? I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I mean, there's theming, but then there's something else that's a little less tangible, like feel of a game.
Right.
And I don't know what constitutes feel of a game, but it's something close to theming, but there's a lot more to it.
Right. Like why should this game earn it and that one didn't?
Yeah, but it did.
It did.
And I'm not saying objectively like everyone's going to feel that way.
Right.
But you do. Know, and I trust your judgment when it comes to like RPGs.
Well, and I think it's not just me either, because this game clearly made a really big impact in the indie scene, and Rise of the Third Power. And I'm not trying to make it sound like I dislike Rise of the Third Power by any stretch. It's a wonderful game, but just in terms of the way that the narrative is constructed, I mean, this game obviously just had a bigger impact. That's just how the dice rolled.
I mean, it did. I'm thinking about the Video Game Awards, and I know there's a lot of award shows and stuff like that for video games we're doing these days. It did win Indie Game of the Year there.
It did.
So, and that's voted on by 90% of the vote is weighted towards like the video gaming press.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a critical darling, and I think games like this have a more uphill battle, like a JRPG. An indie JRPG has more of an uphill battle than like a platforming clone that does something special or has a gimmick. Like that's just me, and maybe I'm totally wrong on that. I do have to remember that I am now the age of probably most of the gaming press, which is a little weird.
No, you're probably a little bit older than some of the gaming press.
Fuck you. But no, I mean, I'm definitely older than some of them. I mean, you have people, in their 20s, obviously developing these games and stuff. And then you have people who are like heads of the department's editorial teams that are like in their late 20s. And it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, like, it's always weird how these things work out. Just because at the end of the day, there's in the indie market, I feel like there's just such a glut of either classic JRPG tributes or Metroidvanias.
Yeah.
And the fact that this singular developer has made both of those things, but have made them really, really well, and
like kind of like sort of at the top of their class.
They are,
for both of those genres.
And I think it's because they never feel like they're copying or lampooning the source material. They're taking what worked and they're adding on to it, and they're despite the retro look, these are really innovative modern games.
Like, not once playing The Messenger did I think, oh, this is just
Symphony of the Night, right?
Or Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
It felt like a mixture of things, but then its own thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cloud stepping is like, okay, where the fuck did that come from? Like,
Yeah,
I
right.
love it, you know?
And maybe that's one of the things that they do that's kind of hard to quantify is that they kind of give the appearance of almost being cliche, though I would hardly describe the graphical style for this as cliche. But
No.
you know, you could look at them and say, oh, another Metroidvania, or oh, another JRPG. But then
Yeah.
within minutes of booting them, it's apparent that they're going for something more.
Yeah, I would. As far as the graphical style for this, I don't know. It is very unique, but it's also like you say, not cliche, but it reminds you of a lot of.
It's
different things
familiar.
as well, yes, definitely familiar.
But
you
at the
know,
same
but you
time,
have-
like this is
like,
the
background
exact
here is
style.
awesome.
Go ahead.
I love seeing the village, down there.
Yeah, I
It's just,
know.
like very, very pretty.
This is the exact style. Like if I were pigeonholed and like were forced to choose just one graphical style for every RPG I played for the rest of my life, it would be exactly this.
Yeah,
Like this is what I have wanted for years. Like not just sprite-based, but like an evolution of sprite-based games.
for sure. Yeah,
Because
And
I
it
mean,
is
like you see the sprites here, and yeah, they're definitely pixels, but this would not have been possible, even on the PS1.
yeah. It's just also like I'm thinking the background. A lot of it is pre-rendered, but maybe not. Maybe it's just different layers.
Oh,
Things
they
that are
make
still using the
really good
engine.
use of layers in this.
Yeah, so I think we're probably past the age of pre-rendering things.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we're not really using spinning discs anymore.
Right.
But yeah, what was I gonna say? Pixel. As far as being 2D, yeah, this is like the evolution of being pixel art,
Mm-hmm.
but just being so much more detailed.
Right.
And yeah, like I was talking to Jim a couple weeks ago about like the 2.5D games because I was mentioning Second Story,
Yeah.
and he was like, "God, I fucking hate the 2.5D." I'm like,
Why?
I love the look of it,
Yeah.
know. And he was like, "Yeah, the pixel art is cool, but it's some of their use of like the 3D technology, like especially the lighting." He said gets to him because making lighting in something like this, is like a program, but it's something completely different compared to like quote unquote realistic lighting.
Yeah.
Using like more sophisticated means.
Mhm.
And he was saying like it just doesn't work with 2D mixing it, and it's just like, okay,
He
like,
should
I
check
guess-
this game out then, actually, because it
No.
does do something really cool with its lighting.
oh yeah, and he would agree. I think that it'd be like, okay, so because this game doesn't use like the 3D effects, like they wouldn't have done any of this game in I don't even know what these programs are, not Maya or Dreamweaver, but
Well, so without giving too much away, it actually does use a little bit of 3D lighting.
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
let me go down here to give you an example. Do you see the shadow of this plant?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a mechanic where you can alter between the day and the night cycle, and that shadow that's being cast, it's not just a collection of different colored pixels on the ground. It's an actual shadow.
Even and I don't know shit about programming or different systems.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would be different from like say a program you would make a game like Control or Resident Evil or something in. Like, and obviously those are different. What do you call those things? Like Unreal Engine is a engine, I guess.
Yeah.
Those are obviously like different engines as well, but I feel like the programming behind it, like under it, would be much more similar to a fill in the pixel and then like having like I don't know what a 2D physics system would even look like.
Right.
Probably
Yeah.
doesn't
And I don't
exist.
claim to be an expert on any of these things, but they did do something really different with the light and the shadow. Like objects in this game have the ability to illuminate their surroundings,
Yeah.
which you'll see in like some of the darker dungeons.
Okay.
And
to
then the
point where
shadows,
you
like I said,
have-
are actually all in real time. Like they actually move with wherever the predetermined lighting source is.
Okay, and I'd like to know that, like, because I feel like if you have direct control of something that can cast a shadow and move it around and manipulate it,
Hmm.
then it would be like, yeah, then there's some kind of 2D, I don't know what you would call it, physics engine or something, lighting engine at work.
Right.
Um, but as far as like the look of a 3D light, it does look different
Oh yeah.
than anything this game is like casting. And because this is all, it is hard to put my finger on it. Like, and I don't agree with Jen as far as like the 2.5D. I think it does look really cool,
Yeah.
but there's something about me. There's something in me that's like a little bit of a purist. That's like, I like this better. You know?
Yeah,
it's,
same. So
it's
you're seeing
almost
it
like
again
a
here with the
mixing-
character shadows.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting.
And now that you've seen it, you won't be able to unsee it because you'll notice them everywhere, like in every object. Like they all have actual shadows, like not
Okay.
just the round, somewhat darker circle beneath them.
Yeah.
Which, to my knowledge, this
Yeah,
might be
there's-
one of the only 2D games I've ever seen do that.
And I don't know much about the story, but I'm wondering if shadows are important because of the moon and
The shadows,
sun.
not so much, but they really wanted to emphasize the sun and moon
Mhm.
dynamic. So I think
Which-
that's why they
Yeah,
went as
if
hard
the
as they
whole
did on the
environments
shadows.
are gonna change and stuff, then shadows are a big part of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, not disagreeing at all. Just yeah, that makes sense to me.
But yeah, all of these things just kind of roll together into a perfectly lovely game, which I
Yeah.
am just enamored with.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of it.
D-
Also,
despite having 100%ed it already, I will probably play through this maybe another time or two, even before they announce DLC, which I pray they will announce DLC.
yeah. Oh, what was?
The other nice
Yeah, I
thing
lost it.
about it, and the reason that we're playing it on this channel, is it's much more traditional RPG length than a lot of other
Oh yeah, like
modern
you said,
offerings.
30-ish.
Yeah,
hours
and
with
this
the
is a
side
new
quests?
game plus. I'm willing to bet we can do this sub 20.
Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, because you said you're not doing like all the side quests. You're
No, I'm gonna leave some things for you to find.
Blanks.
In fact, I'm gonna leave a lot for you to find, because I've got the ultimate weapons in my inventory
Okay.
right now. I'm just not gonna tell you how I got them. We're just gonna. This is gonna be purely story.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and you're right. This opening sequence does take a little bit, but it really is. But it establishes kind of the most important aspects of the game from a narrative perspective, which is that this is really a personal friendship story. Like,
Yeah.
yes, there is a world-ending calamity at play, but that's almost secondary to just the, young friends and their adventures together kind of thing.
Yeah. And I don't know, much beyond the first few hours.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing this, I was thinking, oh, Garl is definitely going to be either an antagonist or he's going to just dislike them a lot, or that's going to be a subplot when they grow up.
Right.
And I was, at least so far, totally wrong on that.
No, yeah. And Garl is the heart and soul of this game.
That's
I
good to
won't
hear.
spoil a damn
I like
thing,
Garl.
but by the end of this narrative, Garl will be your best friend.
Yeah. It is interesting that I kind of thought there would be, and again, you know what? I keep saying like I thought there would be this, but I don't know this game yet. So
Mhm.
there still could be. And I guess I'm putting you in a tough position to be like, don't say anything, but don't say anything because then
Sure.
I get suspicious. But I was thinking like when they're going into like that the cloud trial, whatever the heck it is, you learn how to get magic back during the battles.
Yeah.
That they were going to leave him behind,
Mhm.
or that at least only they could go in to do the trial. Like it looked like it was going to be at first.
Yeah.
But they made an exception. They're like, you know what?
Yep.
Oh, maybe he's the one. Or they said something like that. It's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But I kind of figured he was going to be left out, and then okay, now he's going to be the antagonist by getting jealous or something. But it's like, okay, they defied my expectations so far.
Yeah, no, it's nothing like this game doesn't have any really majorly like the really positive bright facade on the front of the game. It's not a facade. Like that's just
Okay.
the kind of story this is.
That's like when you hear about World Ender something, like
Hmm.
they're called the World Enders or something. It's like, what? Okay, that sounds like it's going to get
The
really
World
dark later.
Eaters, yeah.
World Eater, that's what it is. Yeah, it's like, okay.
And that is
'cause-
a thing in this game.
yeah, because I would consider Chrono Trigger a somewhat, I mean, it's not on the level of Illusion of Gaia, but, you have a shitty future, you have
Yeah.
Lavos. I would consider that a somewhat dark game. It has its moments for sure. So I was kind of thinking this might be the same as far as that theme at some point, but, I guess we'll see. There's something to the
like
upper
this,
right.
like even though it's a really positive story, the stakes are definitely real, and there are some like
Okay.
emotional hard hitters. But
Okay.
like the thing about Garl in particular, who's really kind of emblematic of the whole story, is that it's essentially just like overcoming adversity through positivity and friendship, and that's what Garl's all about. In a lot of
Yeah,
ways,
that's another-
Garl's kind of the main character.
That's
Like
another
these two are
thing is-
definitely the driving force behind the narrative,
Yeah.
but Garl catapults them forward.
Okay.
A-
Yeah, I can
and
kinda
and for
see
that
that.
matter, the other three members of your party as well, all are very very active. Like there's no main party member that's like just there as like window dressing. Like they all get time in the spotlight and they all shine.
Yeah.
The comment that I made at the beginning about Valere and Zale being kind of the weakest part of their own narrative
Yeah.
is because unlike the other characters that join your team,
They have like 2 sets of dialogue or something.
yeah, well, like when they get developed, they don't really get individually developed. They're a team unit, and they never depart from that.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
And I was
there's
actually
never a
just gonna
part where like,
ask-
oh, only Zale can save us now, or this is your moment, Valere.
Yeah. Have you played the game with Zale / Tidus as like the main character? Or has it
Yeah, and you
always
can actually
been-
switch between them at any time, and the
Oh,
difference is
okay.
super marginal.
Okay. I mean, that's what I figured. Is that it's basically because also like at campfires and stuff, you
Yeah.
can't talk to yourself, but you can talk to the other person. So I imagine there's just little bits of dialogue that are different, at each part of the game.
I love the. Oh, here's a good example of the lighting, by the way.
Huh. And I know there's difference that, like, obviously you can mix 3D elements into a 2D thing, and okay, so that is what they're doing right now, because that definitely looks like,
Like if you follow the boomerang.
yeah, like it has nothing to do with pixels, that light. It's definitely
Correct.
different from all the other assets.
And
still
you can
looks
see,
good. It
see it
definitely doesn't
follow
look out of
the
place.
sun ball there too.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said yes to this tutorial. Because I
Maybe you
wasn't
need a
paying close enough
refresh.
attention.
Well,
I
now
know this shit.
Brugraves is going to think there's a clear favorite when you say no to his tutorial.
Right. Oh, okay. Let's do compliment sandwich here. One criticism I have of this game is that the combo system is almost completely backseated until the final eighth of the game.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Oop.
Now, combo is its own point system, right? You're not going to drain anything else by doing a combo.
Correct, but it takes so long to build them up. And there's one combo. Well, there's no spoilers here. There's no spoilers in saying that.
You want to build it
Screw
up
you,
until you get
Brugraves.
a better combo.
Oh, so anyways, the combos take so long to build up that there's at the very beginning of the game. Well, not the very beginning, like the first 7/8. There's one combo in particular that you always want to have ready to go, and it's a healing combo. because if things get desperate, you need that.
That
And
Zale
there's like several boss
or-
fights where you really truly need it, because they'll do like an attack that hits hard and you need to bounce back and keep the damage coming. So by the time that combo meter builds up, you use it on healing right away, and then you have to build it back up from the bottom, and you only ever use that healing one. It's really not until the very end of the game where you get some other options that the other, or that you really need like a big attack to deal respectable damage to a boss, that those combos come into play that way.
Now, were you a heavy item user? Would you say you're normal, or that you
Normal
save
in this
everything?
because actually they replenish really easily. Like you always have more than enough to, like there's no
Do you
like
make
mega
most of the stuff
elixir,
like
you know, where there's
campfires?
only like 3 in the game.
Yeah.
You know, like you can always cook whatever you need for a given situation.
So it is like meals and stuff. Okay.
Yes. But you don't get the ingredients for like a full party heal until near the end of the game.
Okay, so that's still that one combo. You rely on that.
You do.
Okay.
Right. And so and especially for boss fights where you're already doing damage and the combos don't do that much more. I will say the only exception
It's not like
to that
Mario
is
RPG.
I'll occasionally use a certain combo when I really want to break a lock sequence on a boss.
And it's make or break. If you don't do it, then you don't.
Correct.
You don't interrupt them. Okay.
But even then, once again, that really doesn't become a major part of boss battles, like a make or break the fight thing until the last act.
Okay.
And then that's not to say that this is like a super easy game. It's just the combo system, I feel like, could have just been a tiny bit better balanced in order to make more regular use of it. And like for regular battles, you're never going to use combos. Like it might as well be a boss fight only thing.
Yeah, because they only build up during a battle.
Correct.
Right?
They
And then
reset
go
at every
away.
battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because they reset, it's just like the basic enemies are mostly going to be dead by the time you would ever build up a combo.
Gotcha.
So like I
I
said,
will say, so
we're just gonna
so
blast
far
through
at
this.
least, it's like if the combo, yeah, because you don't have to get the extra treasure or anything.
well, I don't have to get shit.
But if the combos didn't exist in this game, I wouldn't feel like it's incomplete at all. Like
No.
the battle system already feels like they have some good things going on without being overwhelmed.
You're coming in a little quiet again.
Oh, that's my fault. I started leaning back.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on without it being overwhelming, and
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, and they do a good job, because I think on getting the magic back, if that's the last thing you learn as far as the battle system, like they spread it out pretty well as the tutorial,
Yeah.
but they're not like FF13 where you're still 20 hours in and it's just like, oh, here's a new thing that is really important.
By the way, now you can summon finally. Oh, speaking of which, this area illustrates really well. One other thing that I truly love about this game is the movement. Like, it's actually fun to traverse. Like, there's no real platforming challenges, but it is fun to move around in this game.
Yeah.
I think I can equip my good weapons now.
Oh, you have the training swords and stuff on, huh? Oh, no, you're talking about your really good weapons.
Yes. Yeah, so...
Okay.
Yep, okay, I can. I can finally access the menu. Here we go.
Dear God.
Regular attacks regenerate +1 MP, yes. I forget what I have on them. I'll need 1 second here. There's one. Lunar Shield cost, that's what I want.
One of the things that unless they add stuff later, which I highly doubt, one thing that I'm like, oh, I wish there was more to this, is the stats. They keep it kind of simple, attack, defense, and
Yep, super
magic.
simple.
Yeah. The complexities in the other systems. But I like having a luck stat, and then you could throw a whole bunch of like as far as dexterity, like that could cover criticals and stuff. Wait, are there critical hits in this game?
Yes, but you're in control of them. It's just the double hits.
Oh, just the timing thing. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I guess without criticals, you don't really need a luck. But then, like, speed... Oh, no, speed doesn't matter in this game either, because it's always... Here's all your party members, and it's up to you which order you want to do it in.
Yes. And,
Yeah,
and so,
speed-
yeah, it's kind of the same thing as the entire rest of the game, where, yes, it's simple, but it's, like, deceptively simple. Because even though there's only 4 stats, they all matter a lot. And you actually have... The accessories can really shift them around a little bit. So like, if there's a certain boss that's just clearly doing non-stop spells, then you may want to consider piling on stuff for magic defense, or aiming for like a certain element or something.
It's
like
usually not like, oh, you're near the end of the game, here are the ultimate accessories that you never have to equip anything else.
And you'll notice here, I have all the equipment in the game. This is it. What you're looking at is it.
Okay.
So yeah.
But you're still like, you're not going to one thing immediately for both characters. You're kind of weighing the options.
Correct. And I'm trying to remember what I had.
Because, yeah, most games it would be like, New Game Plus, oh, I know what I'm equipping, because Dodoy, it's the super god amulet or something.
I actually think I gave... I want to give that to Zale. I think I want to give that to Valer.
So are you good on, like, Christmas shopping and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, actually, I think I have everything done except for you guys.
Nice.
Okay, now I mean, we really are playing in easy mode now. Like, nothing will be a real challenge until 3/4 of the way through the game.
Alright.
But that's okay, because, like I said, this is a story
watching.
playthrough and just a chance for me to gush about this game.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm trying to think of anything else. So far, 45 minutes, I've already said my kind of big likes and very few dislikes about this game.
Yeah. Have you played the DLC for FF16 yet?
No, I haven't yet.
Gato. He's the
right, Gato. Yeah. I have metal joints. Shuffle weakness, physical. Oh, that's a bad weakness to have. He's dead.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh no, he falls apart.
You killed me.
Wait, did we fail the test? What do we do now?
No, on the contrary, they overshot the test.
They overshot.
Holy crap, you guys are gods incarnate. That shouldn't be. But yeah, so going back to the Valer and Zale, I do like them a lot. They're cool characters, but their personality is completely borrowed from Garl.
Okay.
Well, like if Garl wasn't there, like they'd have nothing to talk about. Where's Garl? See, it's like, God, I'm just looking at my hands. I don't know what to do with myself. And by the way, the world building in this game is also really good. Like, this is one of the few games where I really felt compelled to go through each village and talk to every single NPC.
Yeah.
Just because they created such a unique world in this game.
Yeah.
And it only gets crazier as the game goes on.
I'm really interested, especially like how the two games connect.
It's not like just a token. It's not like a nod wink.
As much as the Messenger was really leaned on the humor, like it was a very funny game.
Yes.
The story was actually very interesting.
It is.
It was, and it kept there kept being little surprises. Like you're 3/4 of the way through the game, and you're like, okay, obviously, this is the rest of the game, but they've told me everything, and then they'll throw you one last thing. It's like, oh, how many twists are in this game?
Right.
So yeah, the Messenger was kind of surprising that way.
This game does the exact same thing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And like I
I'm
said,
also
the connection to the messenger, it's not just like, oh, hey, look, this
Interesting.
character shows up now. It's cool.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
like,
already
the
interested
world
because,
is very, very intrinsically tied to this
like,
game.
the first character you meet in this is the Archivist, and I know that's the name of one of the
Mhm.
blue people in
Oh,
the
just keep
Messenger,
watching
so-
the Archivist. He's important. All right, now finally we're at the very beginning of the game.
Almost.
I will say, though, that despite it probably not making for very good streaming, I actually really liked the first couple of hours of this game. It
Yeah.
is definitely a snail's crawl, but it really helps to build up not only the world, but like it does a good job at getting you invested.
Yeah, and like, why are they doing this? You
Right.
know, they've been training for this their whole life,
I actually think I'm going to turn on the Amulet of Storytelling. Again, not because there's going to be any real challenge for me, but so that I don't have to heal between battles and kind of run back and forth.
They just auto do that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, because you've already proven you could beat this game not on New Game Plus. Now you're on New Game Plus.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's not,
I mean,
it's not a
New Game Plus should be kind of a power trip.
Yeah. Oh, there's treasure. You were needed
Damn
to
it.
get it.
Too bad we never come back here ever
No,
again.
exactly. Oh, I like this overworld.
Oh, actually, cool. They did let me keep all of the things. Now, let's see here. I did
Wait,
do...
what are these again?
What's that?
What are these? Are just effects on the game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can turn them on or off. So
But
here...
you don't have them all at the beginning, do you?
No, you don't. No, you get these as the game progresses. The Amulet of Storytelling they give you right there, obviously. But it basically doubles your HP and then you auto heal after combat. So you don't have to make camp and heal that way. Well, like if you have a hard battle or anything.
Yeah.
So for a stream, that'll be great.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just trying to wrap my head around this.
But essentially, you
it's
can
like-
make the game as easy or difficult as you want it. You'll
like those
notice that
later
I
ones.
had these four turned on,
Yeah.
and all they do is essentially decrease grind a little bit.
Which is this something that you get in New Game Plus, or is it literally as the story goes on?
As the story goes on, you can buy or find all of these.
Okay.
So, like-
Okay. So
XP gained by 20%. I turned that right on, and I still only made it to level 23 out of 30. So
because it's also like,
it was not game breaking.
if you're finding something, like if that was a piece of armor that you could just add that did like EXP plus 20%.
And then this one, increased sailing speed by 20%.
Okay.
That has no effect on the actual difficulty of the game. You just
Yeah.
move around the world map faster.
But like, even if it does, like, you found these things or you earned these things.
Yep.
I just find it when it's in that kind of a section and you could just turn it on or off, it's kind of
Mhm.
like, wait, am I not supposed to be turning this on? Or I get stuck in that stuff, you
Yeah,
know?
no, the
and
game
maybe
doesn't
that's just
punish
old
you in
school.
any way, especially because, except for these ones up here,
Mhm.
none of them are like really super game breaking. And in fact, the red ones down here only make things harder. So you can actually
Okay.
turn these ones down here on and play in hard mode.
Interesting. And they don't add any, like, oh, but you get more money,
Nope.
timed bonus, or maybe that one,
Yeah.
the Artful Gambit. That's more of a, it's hard, but you can also do this kind of thing.
Yeah. So like if you were to do a new game plus and you wanted to do it the other way and be like, okay, I really want to challenge myself, then turn all of these up here off and turn all the red ones on.
Now, one other thing, because this is, it just bothers
And then
me
these
in
aren't
a weird
even
way.
really, these three here
Mhm.
aren't even game changers.
That's just
They're literally just upgrades to the fishing rod.
okay.
So like some of the relics here are just natural progression sort of things.
Yeah. So the first three relics, that's what you start with. Slash the not the village elder, but your teacher gives you those, right? The guardian
Correct.
aura and the sequent flare. Everything else that you either get later in the story or that you find, do they default to on once you get them?
No.
Shit. Okay. See, that's weird.
Maybe
that's weird
maybe
to
the
me.
fishing rod ones,
Because those are just upgrades. Yeah.
because those are literally just upgrades that you earn for the fishing rod.
That's weird to me. Because I feel like I'm thinking these are like upgrades that maybe some of them you can miss or something like that. And
I
maybe
kind of
some are
like
just
though
to
that
get-
they didn't call them, cheats or
Well, they
bonuses or
shouldn't.
crutches or anything like that. These are just things that you may or may not activate.
Yeah, I mean, the first three, that makes sense. Hey, do you want to have the story easier and just play the game how you want to play it? Yeah, whatever. But then the later things, I feel like if that was a relic or an armor, you wouldn't think of it as a cheat. Like,
Right.
it's just something you earned. So the fact that they default to off when there's no, all you have to do is turn it on or off. It doesn't consume MP to have those things on or something.
Right.
Like, it's just odd to me. I'm having trouble wrapping my head around that, but I think that's just me being stubborn.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, like when I saw them too, I was like, oh, you're not supposed to turn any of these on if you're playing the game on normal mode. But it's actually not it at all. And like I said, the ones that I turned on really were just to decrease the amount of grinding.
Yeah, but it's like, why wouldn't they have that from the beginning of the game? Not like
and
I
only
want it.
marginally.
Like, I don't necessarily want those things at the beginning of the game because the first time you play, especially, you want to experience the challenge.
Yes.
At least some people do. I do. So I don't know. It's like the ship speed and stuff like that. Like, I don't know.
Like no doy,
I'm gonna
turn it
get-
on.
It's gonna drive me crazy if I keep thinking about it. But yeah, that's not gonna like spoil my love for the game or anything like that.
In the 1 week since I've played this, I've gotten bad at the timing. There we go.
The defensive timing, that's really just learning the enemies.
Mhm.
So I definitely have, learning their stuff, it got pretty, I really do like the boomerang move where it's, I hope that's useful for most of the game, like super jump with Mario.
Yes,
'Cause
every
it is a lot
single
of fun.
technique is useful throughout the game for different circumstances.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like I said, every character only gets a couple, but you use them constantly. And sometimes it'll be crystal clear which one you should be using.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as the timing with the defense, I know the game says treat it as a bonus and not necessarily that you're failing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to feel that way.
Yeah, and actually, near the
They're
end
so-
game, that's not really true anymore.
Oh, really? You
Yeah,
better learn the
you,
timings.
You get those timings down or you pay. But yeah, for
They
the
don't wanna
learning
scare
period
you.
of it, and some of them really are hard, and
Yeah.
you can kind of cut yourself a break if you nail a really difficult timing sequence during a boss fight.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
But they are right. If you just were to not do it, for most of the game, you're going to be fine.
Okay.
But it really adds to it, and you should follow up with it to try to get good at it.
Yeah. For me, I can definitely see from the beginning of the game, I can see, and especially during boss fights, if you mess up not completing a lock and they get another attack in or you don't interrupt them, that could change the flow. That could change the whole course of the battle.
Mhm.
And even the boss here, the first real boss of the game is the one here.
Right.
It could have gone a totally different way if I had missed one of the, one time I didn't interrupt it when I was trying to, and it really, I think you already have the healing spell at this point with Titus or whoever it is. But,
He's just
Vale-
Titus.
Vale, I'm gonna have to remember that. I can remember her name, but anyway, yeah, if I would have failed that 2 times, I think I probably wouldn't have made it. And that's only with these 2 characters.
Yep. And that's one thing that I really like about the combat is that the systems are all wait, what was he saying? Oh, campfire. They're introducing the
I guess you
campfire
need to, yeah.
The system is all so timing based and skill based that even in battles where it's one-on-one or you only have 2 characters in your party, the battles don't feel watered down. It doesn't feel like you're supposed to have 3 people on your team at all times.
Okay.
And the rest is just tutorials. There's some battles where you're forced to do this. with only 2 players in your team or 1 player in your team. And those fights are actually really engaging because you've been stripped away of a lot of your resources, and you just have to, kind of solve the puzzle or nail the timing.
The puzzle of the battle, yeah.
Yep. Ooh, nice. But I think that was more percentage based.
I was about to say.
Though you'll
That was a
notice,
little
though, your
messed up.
stats never get like super overwhelmingly God mode high.
Yeah, that's crazy. That has to be a percentage base, because that's a percentage based attack. That's crazy. I'm like, that's really hurting you.
Oh yeah. And he's dead.
Nice.
Don't get me wrong, like the
Oh, no.
first quarter of this game is going to go by super, super easy. But
I like how he has those 4 like teeth, but the top ones definitely look like eyes.
yeah.
He's just like, oh no.
Yep. But yeah, like you start the game out with like, 100 or so HP, and the max HP you get is 400.
Yeah, it's not like 300 to 9999.
Yeah, right. Like
Well,
you
still
never
have-
get anywhere near the thousands. Though.
What level are you at right now?
What's that?
What level are you at?
23, and the max is 30.
Okay.
They really did take a. If this game borrowed from anything, it was Mario RPG.
Yeah. Dude, the leveling system, I either never knew this or forgot about this in Parasite Eve, at least the first game, is that and I think every time I played the game as a kid, it's like once I got the liberation move where you turn into the crazy thing, you're kind of done leveling up.
Yeah.
And I was playing it this time, and I was like, okay, how do I get levels quickly? When you go to game packs, and it's like, do this to get to level 37, which is kind of the top level, and then it's like to get to 35 to 36 to 37 takes like crazy amounts of EXP to the point where you have to grind for a few hours in the last stage, the museum or whatever it is. And then after level 37, then it resets to like level 1 kind of experience that you have to get. So there's like this
you're right.
There's this
I'd
huge
forgotten all
wall,
about that.
and then it's like you're gaining 5 levels of battle, after level 37, and it's just like up all the way up to level 99.
Yep.
And that like does crazy things to your stats. I'm like, why? And then I thought about it. I'm like, wait, is this supposed to like emulate like her mitochondria waking up or something?
Yeah.
And then she just becomes a beast? I'm like, that's actually pretty fucking cool.
Pretty much. Essentially, the gameplay just mirrors the story.
Yeah, but there's like nothing. They don't even explain it. It's just like after a little bit of grinding, then you just explode. And it's like, okay, that's cool.
Oh, Garl.
Garl.
Get the fuck over here, you bitch! I love you!
Heartwarming.
Yeah, no, Garl's my boy. That's the great thing about Garl. It's like he never like awakens like some super mysterious powers or something, where he doesn't have like magical properties that make him special. He's just an optimist, and that's his whole thing.
That's a shtick. But yeah, he said he's been training all these years so that he could go on the journey with them. Like,
yeah, he's been training as a cook though.
Yeah.
I do like the cooking mechanic in this game. It's really simple. It's basically FF15's.
Yeah. I was thinking the campfire cooking thing is very FF15.
Mm-hmm.
Complete with.
Though I feel
nice
like,
pictures.
unlike FF15, they actually give you real reason to do it because it is your inventory. Whereas FF15, they were temporary stat bonuses.
Stat boosts, yeah.
Which
for
you
15,
really
it didn't
didn't need
matter
for the
so
most
much.
part.
That's your
He
job.
fights
That's
Captain
your class.
America style. I like that. It'd be great though if this were like a darker game. He just takes out a shield, and now you're gonna pay for what you did to me.
That's what I was expecting, dude.
Oh no!
But I wasn't expecting them being like, okay, yeah, you can come. And him kind of convincing them. It's like, actually, most of the monsters aren't even like you have to face them.
Right.
And you think your sensei would tell you that at some point, but he never
You
did.
would think so. Oh, man. By the way, totally random thing, but when you picture Garl's voice, and maybe it's only because I've played through the whole game with him, but do you have like a specific voice in your mind for Garl?
I do, but it's like who's that voice closest to?
Let me know what you think, because I have a
like,
very specific one in mind, and I'll share it with you here.
Okay, it's kind of like, I guess the closest thing I can think of is Ryuji from Persona 5.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
totally opposite of what I was thinking.
Not the for real, kind of like the hey man, haha.
Yeah,
all right,
okay.
let's start the kettle, like that.
But the one that I picture for him is actually, well, I'll always know him as Badger from Breaking Bad, but you know him as Wedge from Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Wait. Oh my god, that is the same guy.
Yep.
I know who you're talking. Oh my god, I never put that together. That's the same dude.
But that's totally
He's
who I
the
picture.
fucking
Like, if they were to
stoner
ever
from-
voice act this game, it would have to be him who does Garl.
Okay, I could totally see that. Okay. I never knew that.
Just kind of that affable goof kind of voice.
Hey, I can't do his voice.
Hey, guys.
He sounds like he has like something's wrong with his esophagus. Just a
Yeah,
little
right.
bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah, I can't do a good imitation of it either, but that's totally how I
Nice.
picture Garl.
I could see that.
Pretty uneventful, to be honest. All I did was train and learn the skills I thought would come in handy. He's literally been training
he's
for
not
10
even
years
making
to
a
just
big
go on an
deal
adventure
of
with
it.
these guys. I love it.
I know.
So wholesome.
It is wholesome because he's not being like, yeah, it's really fucked up how it was 10 years. It's just
Well, and
like,
the
all
great
right.
another real strong aspect of the script in this game is that even though, yes, Garl is like purely optimistic and he always tries to put the best construction on everything, like in the scenes where, you know, things get serious or dour, like he doesn't minimize it. Or like he's not like ignoring the gravity of what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's not pretending there's no problem or like making light of it. Like Garl is emotionally mature, and I respect them for taking that route. Because they could have easily just written him as the comic relief character.
Yeah, that, like Wedge, sort of. At least Wedge and no,
In
both
7
games.
Remake, yeah.
Yeah,
And 7.
and kind of 7. Yeah,
Yeah. For the very short amount of time that he's alive in 7.
exactly.
Oh, man.
Sweet.
But yeah, no, I was really surprised with just how invested into this character I got. Very GM.
Aw. And I feel like there's like some Stardew Valley wholesomeness mixed in there too.
Mhm.
Just like, look how good this is.
Yeah, absolutely. This game was just a total home run for me, and I know we're getting close to the end of the episode here now, but yeah, I definitely wanted to share this on Play the Hits. One, just because this game can't possibly get enough exposure. And then two, just because it was such a return to form for me for the kind of RPGs I love to play.
Yeah.
And that's not to say
don't
that
get
like
much
Persona
of those
or
these
The
days.
Witcher or FF16 that I don't love those kinds of games, but this right here is my bread and butter,
Yeah.
and always will
And
be.
it's like those classics from the Super Nintendo and PlayStation 1. That
Mhm.
was like, our heyday of RPG gaming.
Oh yeah.
To get something that reminds you of that or gives you that same feeling
Yep.
is so rare. And again, like you said, I'm not saying like Persona or Yakuza or anything. They're like, oh, these are inferior RPGs. They're fantastic games. It's just there's that familiarity. There's something about these games that have an identity, and yeah, it's like that familiar feeling for me. And this game does give me that.
Yes.
The graphic style, how it's the battle system, just the feel of it. Again, going back to that nebulous term, it feels right.
Yep. It's yeah. It absolutely does capture the magic of those of those titles without in any way undermining them. You know, like it's not a tribute or a parody. It's an evolution of them.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing more of it. I'm talking as someone who's seen 3 hours of this game. So
Yeah.
And plus the demo you played that one time, was that a Play the Hits episode? I think it was.
Oh yeah, we played the demo on Play the Hits.
Yeah, that's right. So maybe 4 hours I've seen of this game.
Right. Let's give Garl a little extra Magic D, I think. Now let's see here. These gold ones
his HP
really make a difference in the battles.
Yeah. Okay. So you have 2 accessory slots and 1 super accessory slot.
Correct.
Something.
Yeah, what the hell? Let's go all out on the HP. By the way, you'll notice how I said, 400 is about the max, but you have to remember I turned on the storytelling thing, which gives you plus 100%, so I turn it off.
100%.
That's what your actual stats are.
Wow. Okay.
So like, things remain a consistent challenge throughout. Like, you can never really slack off in basic battles near the end game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And there's the first one that you get, actually.
Yeah.
But that one actually gets replaced by the Eye of Yomara.
Place weaknesses. Okay, yeah.
Because that shows weaknesses, resistances, and HP. But anyway, next time on Play the Hits, we'll actually get into the game proper. And yeah, thanks for joining me on this, because I'm just going to gush at you the whole time.
No, that's fine. We got a little farther than I thought, so I feel like we might hit where I'm at by the end of the next
I think we
episode,
absolutely will.
All right. Well, I'll see you next time, buddy.
Later, bud.